Mit dem Recording. Was geht ab an alle Nachschauer? Ich hoffe, euch geht's wundervoll. Und jetzt, Leute, vorhin schon erwähnt, es ist das erste Mal, dass ich die Ehre habe, okay, Jonathan Lopez auf einem EVAPI-Team-Call zu hosten nach 5 Jahren. Ja, das ist wirklich ein Privileg. Es ist für mich etwas, was ich niemals vergessen werde. Und vor allem etwas, worauf man hingeträumt hat, immer wieder. Ich würde sagen, wir verlieren einfach nicht mehr so viel Zeit, Guys. Macht bitte euch selbst klar, dass diese Information eure ganze Situation verändern kann. Seid wirklich aufnahmefähig. Okay, seid wirklich ready zum Mitschreiben. Denn diese Person, Guys, Johnny hat wirklich unfassbar viele Reiche in seinem Leben. Okay. Er ist nicht nur eine Person, die erfolgreich ist im Network Marketing. Ich war mit Johnny 2, 3 Wochen auf Tour Ende des letzten Jahres und er meinte, Daniel, ja, ein Sherman 250 ist, ihr wisst, was es ist. Es ist eine gute Summe von Geld, aber er meinte einfach, es ist seine drittgrößte Einkommensquelle. Gibt euch das. Das ist nicht seine größte Einkommensquelle, es ist seine drittgrößte, wenn überhaupt. Dieser Mann ist connected, okay? Dieser Mann kennt Menschen, die du wahrscheinlich im Fernsehen siehst, die du auf Spotify siehst, den du wahrscheinlich folgst auf Instagram. Okay, er lebt in Miami und er lebt das Leben unserer Träume. Leute, Charmin 10 ist schön, es ist schön zu gehen. Aber verglichen zu dem, was dieser Mann erreicht hat, Guys, ihr solltet jetzt alle gefühlt zittern vor Furcht, ja, weil dieses Value, was gleich kommt, zu 100% alles beeinflussen kann, in welcher Situation du gerade steckst und es kann zu 100% die Lösung sein für deine Probleme, Geist. Ich glaube wirklich zutiefst daran. Also hol den Block und Stift raus, sei ready wirklich mitzuschreiben. Für mich ist Johnny einer der most unterschätzten Chairmans, die es da draußen gibt und ich habe keine Ahnung, warum das so ist. Für mich ist es einfach nur der Grund, weil dieser Mann so humble ist. Er zeigt sich nicht so krass auf Social Media. Er prallt nicht so rum mit seinen Erfolgen und so weiter und so fort. Aber wenn du einfach mal 2, 3 Stunden ein tiefes Gespräch mit diesem Mann führen kannst, verstehst du eigentlich, wie viel hinter seinem Namen steckt und wie viel er schon erreicht hat. Guys, wer hier ist seit vielleicht 1 Jahr im Business? Wer ist seit 2, 3 Jahren im Business? Vielleicht gibt es so ein paar Leute, die 4, 5 Jahre im Business sind. Leute, Johnny ist seit 15 Jahren. Seit 15 Jahren in dieser Industrie. Okay? Also wenn du seit 3 Jahren in diesem Business bist und du denkst, du bist krass, du bist ein kleiner Küken, verglichen zu dem, was dieser Mann erreicht hat. Also kannst du wirklich unfassbar viel von ihm lernen. Man kriegt immer wieder was von ihm mit, immer was Neues, was man anwenden kann in sein Business. Und ich kann mich tatsächlich erinnern an das erste Mal, wo ich Johnny kennengelernt habe. Ich war in Köln. Ich war zu dem Zeitpunkt unranked. Das war in 2019 im Januar. Ich glaube, das war keine Ahnung, der 20. Januar, der 19. Januar oder so. Es war ein Wochenende nach meinem Start. Und wir hatten ein Opportunity-Event. Tatsächlich sogar, wow, was für ein interessanter Zufall, genau an dem gleichen Ort, wo wir übermorgen das Event haben werden. Genau dort, ja, war Johnny Lopez. Ja, und ich kann mich noch erinnern, er war dort zu dem Zeitpunkt Chairman 50. Heute ist er Chairman 250, Guys. So, und er war damals schon auf Tour, hat mein Leben damals schon beeinflusst. Ich habe damals ein Selfie gemacht und seitdem nie wieder diesen Moment vergessen und es wirklich als Inspiration für mich aufgenommen. Und heute noch eine Person, die in den Trenches ist, niemals zu groß ist für die kleinen Dinge. Und wie schon erwähnt, einer der humblesten Leader überhaupt. So yeah, Johnny, as I was saying, bro, we already edified you. The team is ready for your value. I gave you the host, so just make sure, bro, at the end of your speech, just give me the host back. All right? And you can unmute yourself, bro. We are hyped. Leute, lasst uns mal wirklich den Chat zum Regeln bringen.
Gotcha. Can you hear me?
Yes, bro, we can hear you loud and clear. Thank you, man.
All right. I appreciate it. Guys, before we start, can you put a 7-7 in the chat box for the man, Mr. Daniel? You always hear me say this, and I always say it with kind heart and with open heart. When people come into this industry, I've been around it for 14 years now. I started when I'm 16, I'm 30, so it's been a while. And I usually met every single type of so-called leader, a so-called network marketer pro, and I could tell you, look, there's very few people out there that really care more about themselves, about their team themselves than their check. And Daniel is one of them. Not just Daniel, but the whole organization, the whole leaders within the organization. So, guys, whenever you guys get a chance, always be in a state of gratitude. Hey, Daniel, thank you for a quick message, a quick 5-10 second message. Goes a long way. It shows your upline mentors that that what they're doing is not only helping out, but what they're doing is it's worth putting and pouring more into the team. No, so whenever you get a chance, guys, do me a favor. Send Daniel Ramos a thank you text message. Whenever you get a chance, do what I did. Right. I maybe don't do what I did, but look at I want to say this. Whenever you're in a state of gratitude, most of the time you end up growing more or the most. You see, when I got introduced to this business, the person who actually signed me up quit the next day. And if I would have quit with him, you know, the day after, potentially most of us wouldn't be here. Or potentially I wouldn't have retired my parents, or potentially I wouldn't, done the impact or done what I've done. So what I did, I ended up doing, right, 5 years into my history in this industry. I ended up giving him a check. I'm not saying you guys gotta give anybody a check, but I ended up writing him a check for over $15,000, 10,000 and something. And then I sent him a pair of shoes that I remember he loved, and I sent them to him. He called me freaking out. He thought I was joking around, and I told him, "Hey, thank you. You don't know what you've done, but you changed my life. You allowed me to retire my family. You allowed me to live and travel the world and what I wanted to do. But you allowed me to help so many people you don't even know by just introducing me to this business." So understand this: there's never a right moment for the wrong person, and there's never a wrong problem or a wrong thing to the right person, right? With that being said, I want to have more of a conversation rather than training. You see, I'm not here to motivate you guys. I'm not here to get you fired up and just fired up, and in 24 hours, you guys are back to, oh my God, well, what did I do? I like to actually not only give value, but give my 2 cents and the abilities that I've been able to apply into my business to go from where I started this business to where I'm at today. And you see, the major thing, right? As I go, I'm gonna kind of tell you guys my story, and as I go with my story, I'll tell you the main skills you need to learn within that. You see, I joined this business when I was 16. I know it's being recorded. Please, Daniel, don't post it online. But I joined this business when I was 16, and when I first got started, you know how usually your first time in this industry, you're fired up, you're ready to go. You tell the whole world, you tell your mom and dad, you tell your closest friends, you tell your co-workers, you tell people that the complete strangers, and you're so fired up that you go out of your way. You don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're saying, but you just go on psycho mode. And I initially went, and I remember the first test that I've gotten in this industry was the very first day I signed up. You see, when I first got started, I went and told my parents, "Hey, I got a job," because I didn't know how to explain network marketing. I didn't know how to explain to them, because I didn't even know what I was doing. Right, it was my first less than 10 hours, and I went back to my parents. I'm like, "Oh my God, I found a job." My mom looked at me and was like, "What do you mean a job? You're an illegal immigrant in the States. You can't get a job." I'm like, "Yeah, look, I recruit people and you recruit people, and we all get retired and we all buy Lamborghinis." She laughed in front of my face, and I'll never forget this. She said, "Johnny, I've heard of those things. I think they probably stole your identity." And I laughed back, and I'm like, "Well, there's a problem. I'm 16. I could have signed up, so I stole your identity." So, my dad overheard the conversation. He heard. He's like, "Oh, it's one of those recruiting things. Come on, be serious. Focus on school. Focus on sports, soccer, and so on. And you're gonna get a lot farther. Chances are you lost your money." And the first thing I said is, "Well, Dad, I don't have money. I ended up swiping your credit card." And I remember both of their faces were not. First of all, they were upset. I'm not here telling you go steal your parents' credit cards or go, right. I'm not asking you to go, "Daniel, let me borrow your credit card so I could go swipe my auto ship." But they were, aside from upset. And my first 4 or 5 hours into this industry. Sorry, I'm getting a call. Can you guys hear me? Yes. Sorry, I was receiving a call. But my first 4 or 5 hours into this industry, and I was already being tested within those face 5 hours. I learned the very first skill set that you're gonna need to apply into this business, which is the having a rhino skin. You see, most of the time when we get fired up and we join this business, we think that people that are gonna be so fired up to join our business, or people that we talk to them about our business, that they're gonna be so fired up, are usually the people that don't do anything. And usually when we think we're fired up and we don't know any better, we go tell people, our best friends or family members, or even loved ones, or even co-workers about this business, and we don't know how to explain it, but we come off, and the first thing they tell us is, "Be realistic, become a millionaire. Come on, bro, they go get a real job, go focus on something real, go do something," right? And it usually, things like that helps us go down. It gets us in a very state of not growth, but in this state of lack of growth, lack of confidence, lack of, wow, is this business real? And you start questioning yourself. And you see, for me, in the first 5 hours, my parents did this to me. But I remember understanding this, which is understanding the reason why you joined this business shouldn't be the reason why you quit this business. And I remember I joined this business more than just money was to give them and change their lifestyle from being an illegal immigrant that worked from 6 in the morning to 2 a.m. or 12 a.m. at night, to be able to tell them, hey, here's a blank check. You guys are retired. You can do as you please. So what I told myself is not if this works. It's not if today I don't make it. It's when this works, the amount of hours and days and years it takes, I'm gonna do it because I don't have anything better. So I switched my mindset from being this victim, right, to being this rhino tough skin. And I'm just gonna be honest with you. Some of us here in this conversation, we might have approached our best friends, our closest friends. We might have approached our family members or co-workers. They might have said something bad about our business, and we might have not gone fully 100% in our business because we think maybe they're right, or maybe you can't become a millionaire through this. Before you start, I want you to do this, right? Whenever you get a chance, and Daniel, you can help me out. Go to Google and just type in how many millionaires are created by network marketing, and you should find a number that's over 22 to 25%. So I always tell people, look, forget about me trying to hype you up, but numbers are numbers, right? And if you look at the numbers statistically, you have a 25% chance in network marketing than a 1% chance of winning the lottery to become a millionaire. I don't know about you, but I like my odds in my industry because I don't know any other industry or any other job or any other thing that you can put as much effort and you can potentially be 6, 7, and 8, 9-figure earner. So you see that's the first mentality, the first skill set I kind of wanted to share with you guys, right? As I started growing, I remember I was fired up. I told everyone and their mother, people were signing up, but I remember this, right? I kept on going and going and going, and I was so close. You see, my first company I joined, it took 300 people to make $100 a month. Some of you guys might look at me crazy, right? But it took over 300 people to make $100 a month for residual income. And I got to the 30, 40 people mark, but I just didn't see results. I was just like, okay, after a year, my parents looked at me and goes, Johnny, get serious. Well, have you made any money? I said, no. Right after a year and a half, all my friends, all the people that I thought they were close friends, the people that were gonna help me go to the next level, where the people were telling me the most, Johnny, that doesn't work. You're crazy. They wouldn't even want to be my friends because they said, how what Johnny's doing doesn't work. Ha 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 ha. And they'll laugh at me. But I remember the second year, right? Something triggered that I went from zero to over $25,000 a month. And what had triggered to me was that in those 2 years that people were making fun of me, people were laughing at me, people were telling me, look left, look right, there's other things better, this does better, this will pay you better, this does the job, right? I remember this. I've initially, when I turned 18, I received a check. It was a bonus check for $500 a month. And those $500 a month created two things for me, which was one, the belief level, oh my God, this actually pays and you can make residual income. So funny enough, I went back, and you guys want to laugh? I showed my parents, look, here's a check for $500. You know what my parents told me? Well, Johnny, you did all that work for 2 years to make $500. Come on. And they tested my level again of how resilient I was in this business. And funny enough, right? But I remember those $500 check bonus was something so big to me that created this belief level that I started walking around like I was $100,000 a month earner, where 2 weeks later, I went from that $500 bonus to $25,000 a month. I remember going to an event, and you guys might know him. I'm actually with him because we're looking at a property right now. My business partner, his name is Julian Kushner. Every single one of you guys know him. And I went to an event, and he was on stage, and I went to just shake his hand because we were having a conversation. And he said something where, hey, girls first. I told him, hey, I don't want a picture. I just kind of want to have a conversation, see what's up. And he looked at me, and I forgot what it was. I felt some type of way. And the first thing I said is, look, listen, I'm going to be your highest earner. I'm going to out earn you. I'm going to outrank you. I know everybody tells you that. but I will. And he looked at me, he said, Johnny, everybody tells me that, right? He didn't even know what my name was. And that's the second skill set I want you guys to have. Sometimes you need to have faith in what you're doing before people can start sharing the vision that you have. You see, a lot of people can laugh at you right now, but let's be honest, if it's not this, then what? And if you don't switch that mentality to, hey, look, I'm in an industry that might take time, but that is fine, because at the end of the day, if it takes 2, 3, 4 years to go to Chairman 10, but you can go hit Chairman 10, I guarantee you, right? In a few months, you can recover what you lost in a few years. And that's what most people don't understand. So I had this conversation. I went, I felt some type of way. I got so fired up that 3 months later, I actually surpassed Julian in rank. He was making roughly around 50 something thousand dollars at 18. I surpassed him. And I remember him reaching out to me because I was 10,000 people below him. So next time somebody tells you, hey man, positioning is everything, you got to be the top of the top. Guys, understand this. If you're in this industry, there's never a right time. There's never a right time. The right time is always the right time if you're the right leader. I don't care to try to recruit the right leader, so my business depends on the right person. I am the right person, so I am everybody's power leg. I don't care for when people tell me, oh, well, hey, there's this thing here that if you get in time, you might get spilled over. You know what that tells me? You're scared to build a business. So that's the next skill set you need to learn, which is forget the right timing or the placement, the right placement. Guys, understand this. There's not right timing, no right placement. You are the right person. You are the right person for your business. Guess what? You're gonna become the power leg for your business. I've had 3 uplines in my industry, and I've been their strongest legs. If not, one of them has been Christopher Terry. So when people are looking and saying, oh, maybe I get the right timing here, guys, that doesn't exist. This industry will pay you as much as you put in, as much as you put out. As much as you put in, there's no right timing. There's no right placement. There's always the right the right leader, becoming the right leader, right? And that's kind of what I kind of noticed, right? I started becoming the right leader, started doing events, I started doing the conventions, I started going out and doing the events, I started going out and doing that extra step. I remember I ended up hitting a rank of over 70 something thousand dollars a month. And the moment that I hit it, I was fired up. I was calling my parents because I was going to college, and I told them, hey guys, something very special. I'm about to retire you. And guess what? A week later, when I was supposed to get paid, the company went out of business. So I went from 70 something thousand dollars to $0 a month overnight. So was Julian. And sometimes people kind of go, oh my God, what's going on, or what happens, or so on. And I remember just being so fired up to prove that I could do it again, right? That I had a few leaders that looked at me scared. They're like, Johnny, what are we gonna do? This, and that. And the first thing I said is, dude, the bigger the bounce, the bigger the rebounds. You see, most of us, sometimes we look at this business and we don't understand that it is a business. Guys, we are in a business. We're not in businesses. There's not always good times. If you go talk to Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, he had 4 or 5 years of what? Selling 2, 3 books a year? But now, oh my God, it's Jeff Bezos, biggest company in the world, multi-billionaire. I'm like, no, guys, in business, you're going to have good times and you're going to have bad times. But guess what? Understand this. The bigger the retracement, the bigger the bounce, the bigger you bounce back up. And what do I mean by that? I look at this business like I look at it a tennis ball. And this is the mentality I need you to share with you guys today. Sometimes you might go hit a rank. Sometimes you might be fired up and you go P600, P1, P2, P5, Chairman 10, Chairman 250, Chairman. Guys, in business, you're gonna have a retracement. I woke up overnight without a check and with negative, ready? 5,000 people overnight. Guess what? I just said I am the right person. I don't depend on the right team. I am the right person. I am the right leader. I can rebuild this much bigger and much faster. We both, Julian and myself, locked in, and we understood that, hey, even in tough times, right? You need to think your biggest when you're at your lowest. I need you to write this down. You need to start thinking your biggest when you're at your lowest. We had a retracement of over $70,000 a month to $0 a month. I still had bills coming in. I still had this happening. Julian still had things happening. Guess what? We started thinking our biggest. We said, you know what? Hey, Let's go do this and let's go multiply not only our income, but the amount of people that we help make a 6 and 7 figure income. And guess what? Later on, here we are, over 82 chairmen within our organization. And I don't say that to say, look at whatever. I don't care to show you how much money I make. That to me is pointless. But what I'm trying to tell you is the mentality you need to have in this business, which is always think you're biggest when you're at your lowest. If I could teach you a skill set today in this conversation and this call that I could have with you is, guys, understand this. Right? It's easy to think good or easy to think big once everything's going perfect. But in business, things are going to go down. And sometimes we hit a rank, we derank, or we're trying to qualify, our best friend quits, or one of our closest friends who we think we're going to get fired up actually doesn't do anything about the business. And we start questioning, we start thinking, hey, maybe this is not for me. Or sometimes I had to go move back to my parents' house. I had to go move back to my parents' house at 18 when I lost my income. And I said, you know what? That is totally okay. Because I was already thinking much bigger when I was at my lowest point. And what that did to me was it didn't affect me on the way I thought. Because in this business, if I could tell you to write something down, and I would tell every single one of you guys, including Daniel Ramos, to write this down, is this, right? And it's what I live by, and it's what Jordan and I live by, right? And it's something that most people don't understand, right? Network marketing is very simple, but this is the skill set that's gonna make it simple enough for you to be a 6 and 7 figure earner. Long-term vision, but short-term memory. Long-term vision with short-term memory. Some of us, we get confused. We say we have a long-term vision, but we can't see ourselves working 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years without a check because we don't see the benefits of what that could bring to the outcome that we could see at the end of the line. 2, short-term memory. What do I mean by that? Sometimes, right, in business, if you look at your business by day by day, or you're looking at your business month by month, and you have 1, 2, or 3 bad months, you're like, oh my God, this business is going to shit. It doesn't work. It must be the products. It must be this. But I tell you, hey, go be.
Jordi. Moment mal, Guys. Ich schreibe ihm mal. Ich glaube, das war zu viel Value auf einmal, ja. Er war richtig im Flow. Oh, er ist da, er ist da. Let's go. Wait, who's the host? Oh, I am the host. All right, bro. You're the host again.
Sorry,
Let's go.
sorry about that, guys. That's what happens when you guys catch me. You see, we're always moving. But I sorry. I just got a call. I thought I clicked it, but it clicked on everything. Going back to that, right? Understand this: long-term vision, short-term memory. In business, right? We tend to look at our business, and we might have one bad day, or one bad week, or one bad month. But understand this, right? In this industry, the faster you get over that bad day is the faster you're gonna get over that bad result. And the faster you get that over that bad result, it's the faster you start obtaining good results. You see, most people, we look at something negative because it's easy to think positive when everything's going positive, and we attract more negative. You ever heard of whatever could go wrong and will go wrong, right? Exactly. That's the same type of bit in business that you're in. If you start having a bad day, you got to understand that yesterday, if you had a bad day yesterday, guess what? Yesterday's yesterday. I can't do anything about it. I move forward with a new focus. Guys, I'm going to be very transparent. In the past month, and I don't make this up. I could actually have you can talk to Richard, or who's helping me out with this. Guys, I've lost over $1 million in the past month in a bad deal. And I'm not telling you this to impress you. I'm telling you this. I allowed myself one bad day, and then I kept it going forward. I had one day where I lost $1 million. But guess what? For that one day, I said, you know what? I'm not going to respond to anybody. I'm going to scream on the top of my lungs, and I'm going to go make more money. And I'm going to go build my business much bigger. And I'm going to go do this and do that. And some of us, we take a bad hit. We go hit a P600 rank. We derank to P150, and we think the world is over. I'll tell you this. I am now with Julian, funny enough, And why I'm telling you this because I'm actually with Chris Terry. We're actually now looking at a property that we're closing the deal on. We closed this deal. Guess what? I made what I just lost times 3. So the point of what I'm trying to tell you is understand this. You always have to have a long-term vision of where you're going to go in this industry, a long-term vision of where you're going to go in this business with a short-term memory, right? Whatever happened or didn't happen, whatever negative things happened or didn't happen, guess what? That is fine. That's happened. You can't do much about it. Keep on moving forward. Keep on going. If you deranked, you're a P1, P2, and you derank, guess what? Welcome it. It's okay. You need a bounce to bounce back up, right? Look at it like the tennis ball effect, right? The harder you bounce, the harder the bounce goes back up. So understand that in business, the uglier it looks, the better it is. Example: I'm in Miami right now, and this looks like one of the ugliest buildings in this world in Miami. Funny enough, you guys want to laugh about this? When people look at this business, they're like, "Oh, it's very old," and this, and I look at an opportunity because we already have it pre-sold for an extra $3 million before we even buy the building. Because when people see scarcity, when people get scared because it must be old, it's going bad, they don't see the opportunity how much bigger you can grow. And in this business, guess what? If you have one of your leaders leave, it's okay. It's a people to people business. You know what tells me? I get fired up when I lost those 5,000 people. You know why? Because they told me, hey, I'm gonna go filter out and create more success stories. So if I lost 5,000 people, guess what we did? We created over 55,000 more people. So you need to bounce from something. It's never going to go up, not even in the markets. Look at right now. Crypto's crashing, correct? We had a 10, 15% pullback. It's okay. There's going to be people that sell. There's going to be people that don't necessarily go and see the long-term vision. Look at this like you look at the markets. But I'll tell you what, right? Even if it took you 2 to 3 years to working your ass off for free and you do the numbers, your auto sheet comes roughly to $20,000, $30,000, but not 20. It's like $9,000 for 3 years or something like that. Even if you have 3 bad years in this business, you had 1 good month, you go term and 10, you already recover those 3 years of this business, right? You see, I was actually talking to Chris, and I know he's freaking out right now, but I was actually talking to Chris, and we were talking about a specific individual. You guys know who Donald Trump is? Right, the president billionaire. And funny enough, we're having a conversation because he met his son. He was in one of the buildings he's constructing, and one of the things he was saying was, hey, people look up to Donald Trump, but they don't understand that most of the time, Donald Trump was a billionaire 7 years ago or 10 years ago. If you go back in time, 10 years ago, he had become a billionaire. But guess what? He was worth $1 to $2 billion. But overnight, we had a housing crisis here in the US. And he went from being worth $1 billion to being worth negative $1.2 billion. Let that sink in. He said he shares this story. He says that he'll walk around with his wife and his son, and he will look at a homeless person and goes, baby, that person right there that has nothing in the street is worth $1 billion more than what I am worth because I owe the bank over $1 billion. And now if you look at his network now, he 100x what he was worth. But you see, some of us will quit when we go from $1 billion to negative $1 billion. Some of us we will quit before we even go that extra mile. And that's what you got to understand in this business, right? For every comeback, you need a comeback. For every setback, you need a comeback. But the stronger the setback, the bigger the comeback. And that's the mentality you need to have. I was having this conversation with Chris literally on this because he put me on a phone call with Trump's son, and they were just laughing about this conversation. And I thought it was extremely cool because you go, okay, somebody that's worth $1 billion went to be negative over $1 billion, but yet somebody like that, why wouldn't you quit? Why wouldn't you go, oh my God, I can't get out of this, right? And for somebody to go from being worth $1 billion to now over hundreds of billions of dollars, you go, oh my God, the mentality that person had, the drive that person had, but the hunger that person had was much bigger than the pullback that he had. Yes, did he have a bad pullback? Yes, 100%. From $1 billion to negative $1 billion. That's one of the worst trades in the world. But 10 years later, guess what? He's worth over what? 70, 80, 100 billion dollars? He just doesn't put it on taxes because he has to pay a lot of taxes. It's okay. So in this business, you're going to have that. You're going to have all these conversations. That's why if you guys could take something from this call today, right? Understand this. Long-term vision, short-term memory. Long-term vision, short-term memory. And if I could finish with adding one more thing, right? Always understand that if you start doing long-term vision, short-term memory, you're gonna start changing yourself, the way you think, the way you move, the way you do this business. And if you start changing yourself, you start changing how you dream, how you look, how what you're looking to accomplish in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And if you start changing those two things, you start changing your life. Most people trying to change their life before they change themselves. That is impossible to do. You can't change your life before you change yourself. Your actions, your attitude, and your mental health. You need to change that. Your work ethic, your attitude, and as you change yourself, you're gonna start changing your life, whether it's mentally, physically, and financially. That's just as a matter of fact. But it all takes time. Everything that's worth it takes time. Guess what? That's why you can't buy the perfect body. You can't go and if you look at Daniel and Daniel and me were to get overweight, we can't just go. Yes, you can have surgery and remove, but guess what? You're not gonna have the stick pie. You're not gonna look good. You need to go pay your dues, do the work in this business. You start changing yourself. You start changing the way you think, the way you do this business, the way you put the effort in this business. You'll start changing your life. And with that, guess what? You start leading people with a heart, not by a rank. You start leading people with a heart, not by a rank. You see, at the end of the day, this industry is beautiful. I've loved this industry. It's something that I'm in multiple different industries, but if I could tell you why I still do network marketing, why I love network marketing, it's very simple. It levels out the playing field. It helps you connect with people, and it helps you create more success stories. And if I could tell you this is understand the simple thing about this industry, you are here not because your income. Your income is the lowest form of rank, but because of your leadership and your hard work. Anytime you lead a team, whether it's 2 people, 200 people, 2,000, and so on, lead with your results and lead with your mistakes, but never with your ego or your income. That's the lowest form of income. That's the lowest form of leadership, right? So remember, short term memory, long term vision. Daniel, I'm gonna have to let you guys go. Have Chris is just is calling me again because he's freaking out. We gotta close this, but I'm telling you guys right now, and the next couple months, walking into convention, you guys are gonna see a massive change, and it's just not me saying it. I know Ilya Ramos is gonna get a little taste of it um, later on in this month, and I'm just telling you right now, short term vision, but long term vision, short term memory. If you can apply it into this business, trust me, at this your business and your and whatever industry you decide to do, it's gonna go much farther. By the way,
What's up, y'all?
you want to add anything else real
Don't
quick?
add anything else. I mean, like you said, long-term vision.
Short term memory.
You know, I mean, long-term vision in this business is key. For example, we're looking at real estate here, 28 unit apartment in Miami, and then we're going to develop something as well, right? And so whether it's in network marketing, it's in this business, you're thinking 2, 3, 4, 5 years out. When we purchase this property, or if we purchase the property, it's again a year, 2, 3, 4 years out. So anything you do in business and investments, it's always going to be a long-term focus. Anyone in that short-term mentality, next week, next month, next couple months, I tell people quit right now, because when the going gets hard, you're going to get going. You're going to hit the door. You're going to hit the exit, right? And I think we've embraced that the last 10 years, Jonathan and myself, where we knew shit was going to happen, and we didn't care what happened. It was the way we reacted, and the way we reacted was always finding solutions. It was always with a long-term vision for our team, for our people, for our customers, for our leaders. And we gather people, and we put people in that long-term mindset. And that's how you need to be in business and entrepreneurship and investing. So that's it for me.
Perfect. Check this out. Without even
much
making
love, y'all.
without making this up, he just got in the car. Didn't plan this. Ready? How long do you stress about something negative in your business?
I give it, 5, 10 minutes max. and then I, find a solution. I get over it.
So Julian's much better than I, but Julian does apply the same thing that I just told you guys. Long-term vision, short-term memory. Anything negative or anything negative that's happened, you can't do, or you can't go back in the past. You can't change what you already do, and you can only change how you react and the amount of time you give it to it. So understand that. Julian's the master of that. Actually, he actually does it a lot better than I do. So that's why I tell you, look, listen. He just told you guys the same thing I just told you guys specifically in this business, guys. Always lead by example. Always lead with your heart rather than your rank. And it's okay. It's okay to have a pullback. We all do. But just like a tennis ball, just like real estate, right? The uglier it looks, the better the future it is. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much. Daniel, I believe you have the host, correct? 1 second, 1 second. And guys, remember, a little text message goes a long way to Daniel. Let me see participants. Where are you? Daniel Ramos. No, you are under Empire. There you go. 1 second, 1 second. Make host. So guys, thank you so much. Have a great day. Hope to get to see you guys in the next tour in Germany and all of Europe. Let's go.
Let's go, guys. Thank you. Wish you the best. Have fun closing the deal. Alright, Leute. Das war auf jeden Fall ein kranker Fahrt. Let's go, let's go. Big Money Boys, ja. Leute, das war krass. Und ich denke, das hat auf jeden Fall einige Leute hier auf diesem Call angesprochen. Ich meine, letztendlich, was Johnny gesagt hat, es ist einfach die Weisheit der Weisheiten. Wir sind in einem Business, oder? Und auch vergessen wir das. Wir sind so krass verwöhnt mit schnellem Erfolg und in 2 Jahren Chairman gehen und keine Ahnung, nach einem halben Jahr 200.000 funded und so weiter und so fort. Aber wir vergessen, dass wir, keine Ahnung, ich würde sagen, im Durchschnittsalter auf diesem Call 21, 22, 23 sind. Wir schlürfen gerade gefühlt aus dem Ei raus. Wir sind immer noch jung Erwachsene. Wir figuren das Leben gerade noch aus. So, wisst ihr, was ich meine? So, wir sind gerade noch mal am herausfinden, wer bin ich überhaupt. Es gibt Leute auf dem Call, die selber noch nicht mal wissen, worin sie gut sind und worin sie schlecht sind. Okay? Und wir vergessen das und wir sind so hart zu uns selber und wir kriegen diesen Stress, wir kriegen diese Anxiety, aber wir müssen verstehen, dass wir im Unternehmertum sind, Guys, okay? Und ich finde vor allem der Punkt, wo angesprochen wurde, hey, wenn etwas Negatives in deinem Leben passiert, akzeptiere es, suche das Positive raus und vergesse den Rest. Mach das innerhalb von 5 Minuten und vergesse den Rest. Weil du kannst nicht mehr beeinflussen, was passiert ist. Du kannst nur beeinflussen, was du draus machst. Hey, quittet ein P600-Leader aus deinem Business. Quittet ein P1000-Leader, quittet ein P2. Nicht einer, sondern 2. Nicht 2, sondern 3. Nicht 3, sondern 4. Es ist egal. Du machst weiter. Okay? Weil es geht nicht darum, was andere Menschen in deinem Leben machen. Es geht darum, was du aus deinem Leben und aus deinem Business machst. Okay, Guys? Ich persönlich glaube daran, dass wenn wir sehr stark in etwas glauben und wir sehr hart dafür arbeiten und jeden Tag die richtige Entscheidung treffen, warum sollten wir es nicht schaffen? Leute, ihr habt gerade den Kaliber von Erfolg gesehen, oder? Was man alles in seinem Leben erreichen kann. Müsst ihr jetzt nicht über Zahlen reden. Und wisst ihr, was ich geil finde? Ist, wenn Johnny jetzt nicht auf dem Call wäre, ihr würdet nicht wissen, dass Chris Terry mit Donald Trump connected ist. Ihr würdet nicht wissen, dass die Menschen, die uns leiten, Multimilliardäre sind. Diese Dinge würdet ihr nicht wissen. Ihr würdet nicht wissen, dass sie jetzt gerade 3 Millionen gemacht haben mit einer Unterschrift. Warum? Weil, wenn du so einen Erfolg erreichst, musst du damit nicht rumprallen. Du musst flex ein Donald Trump rum, wenn er krasse Individuen trifft, bekannte Leute, natürlich nicht. Okay? Unser CEO ist auf dem gleichen Level. Ich will jetzt nicht sagen auf dem gleichen Level, okay, aber das ist das Umfeld, wie das von einem Donald Trump. Und genau das müssen wir verstehen, Guys, dass wenn wir bei ihm sind, Guys, unser CEO verliert einfach nicht. Okay? Er verliert einfach nicht. Egal, was passiert mit dieser Company, ja? Egal, wie oft irgendwas gegen uns geschossen wird. Egal was, Guys. Diese Company wird für immer da sein, okay? Dieser CEO verliert nicht. Und das ist der Grund, warum IM Academy the way to go ist, okay? Und ja, Daniel, aber die in der Company sagen so und die in der Company sagen so und die sagen auch, das ist die beste Company und so weiter und so fort. Leute, Fakten einfach auf den Tisch. Okay, wenig Gelaber, wenig Geschwätz, einfach Fakten auf den Tisch. Wir sind am längsten am Markt. Wir haben schon alles hinter uns. Und diese kleinen Projekte, Guys, die sind gerade mal langsam aufmerksam genug, dass die Behörde überhaupt auf die zugehen kann, ja, und einfach mal sagen kann, was Sache ist. Das haben die alles noch nicht mal hinter sich. Wir aber schon, Guys. Und was ist passiert? IM Academy hat es überlebt. Warum? Weil wir Chris Terry haben. Weil wir solche Leute haben, okay? Deswegen, Guys, nimmt das wirklich für euch mit. Nimmt auch die Inspiration. Das hat auch mich inspiriert. Und wie vorhin gesagt, ja, das ist, German 10, das ist immer noch nichts, Guys, okay? Es gibt noch so viel mehr und so viel mehr von Erfolg. Somit würde ich sagen, lass uns das Beste draus machen. Lass es zu 100% wirklich an das Event denken. Sichere dir unbedingt ein ACX-Ticket. Und Guys, ich hoffe wirklich, dass Johnny und Julian auch am Ende zu 100% dein Wort bzw. dein Erfolg beeinflussen konnte mit den Worten, die sie gerade gedroppt haben. Ich hoffe, der Mehrwert konnte dein Leben bereichern. And as you already know, just imagine what one decision can do. It will always be worth it. Macht's gut, Leute. Ciao, ciao.